Hi, this is Osman. I'm an energy healer, yoga and meditation teacher, and an entrepreneur. Be sure to visit my website, yogawellness786.com, for more information on our services and to be able to get in contact with us. Right. So also remember our therapies, advices, and lifestyle habits and advices are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. If you've got a medical condition, please be sure to visit a licensed and qualified medical professional in your locality. So today I wanted to discuss the importance of adaptability. So, this is one of the most important skills. If you are not a person who could change and adapt to different situations and circumstances, you're going to live a very frustrated life and a very difficult life, because the world is dynamic. Nothing stays the same anymore. So now AI is in our life, right? And the work dynamic is changing fast. So you have to use this positively, how you could use AI to your advantage, right? So everyone is so depressed that their jobs are being taken away. Let's investigate the importance of adaptability in this particular specific situation, that the jobs are all going to be taken away by AI. So what's been happening what's the reality of jobs? What's the reality of the job market, right? On average, people, like for example, a leading city like London, right? I'm choosing London because it's in the center, neutral. I consider it neutral. Maybe not. People may disagree with me, but it's a developed city and considered a first world city, and where lifestyle is considered on a very high level, right? So there, the average income, right? The average person is earning around 36 to 40,000 pounds a year, which is around 3,000 pounds a month. After tax income, around 2,600 pounds a month, right? So with 2,600 pounds a month, how is an average person going to have a family home to be able to afford a single income, where you want the one partner to be stay at home, for the kids and have children, and have a 3-bedroom home? You need at least 4,500 to 6,000 pounds a month net. I estimate you need 5,000 to 10,000 pounds, right, in order to live a normal life, just to be able to get married, have children. So 60% of the people today are not married, or not even intending to marry. And one of the reasons, not only the finding it difficult to find the right partner, but you don't have the finances to afford it, right? You can't afford a relationship and to start a family. How are you going to afford it? Physically, it's not possible. So AI coming and taking away that is forcing you to see the reality that this is not working, right? The job situation, going to working for another company and is a system and a model that's not working. You need to get into a newer system, and a newer system suggestion, right? I'm not saying this is going to work. Is a contracting system. You have certain skills. You have learned certain skills. You're good at certain things, right? No, as much as you think you are useless, there's no such thing. Everyone is good at something, right? So use that to your advantage and outsource it and contract it out, right? And charge on a contract basis, right? That way you will have the potential, and then use AI to brainstorm ideas, because it will give you ideas. AI has got, all the statistics at its fingertips, right? You're going to know. I mean, AI told me when I mentioned in my discussion with the AI about this London story, 2,600, that, a single person can't even afford to live in a room, can barely live in a room, with that type of income. How is he going to afford a house? He turned around and said the average cost for a single person living in a room is minimum 2,000 pounds per month for his room accommodation, travel, and living expenses without entertainment, right? 2,000 pounds per month is the minimum. Pop gave it to me like that, answer like that, and I was targeting a certain market. They told me in this city, in my target market, which is around 1% of the population of that city, the income earning capacity is between this range and that range. And in that city is between this and that city is between that and that. These three cities, I knew which city to choose off the pat, without experimenting, a few months here, a few months, 90 days here, 90 days here, 90 days there, right? Three sets of 90 days, 200, three-quarter of the year, right? 9 months is gone, right? Wasted. In one sentence, it saved me 9 months of time, right? In finding the right decision. And so many occasions, right? Even there was a legal case that I had to go to court and present, an argument, and I mentioned, the circumstances. It gave me all the case law and so many recent published journal articles in the legal, magazines and so forth, and there are compelling arguments that I could use. And I ended up creating, from just a few lines that I could have defended myself, right, to a multiple, thick document of pages of arguments in my favor, to win the argument. And I saved so much of money, very often. It's found for me because I love eating, raw unsalted peanuts. So it's very difficult in the soup because everywhere you're getting roasted and salted, right? And to find the best price. So it helped me locate something that I never on my own could have easily located, because it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. A wholesale supplier in a certain city that could deliver to me, in bulk. And then I also have flax seeds regularly. It found in another city the best price in the whole country, right? And a wholesale supplier, of the product, and a reputable. So this is all from AI, right? So, so you need to understand that the art of adaptability is very important, right? You don't ever think that the world is against you. It is not against you. It is ever changing and evolving. Do you want everything to be the same? It's going to be so boring. Life will be so boring. People will start committing suicide, and they will have grounds for doing so, because everything is totally boring and there's nothing different, and it's just repeating, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, But it's not that way. It's the dynamicness of the ever-changing dynamics of everything. So if you can adapt to that, you will enrich your life, and look at the positive sides, right? Because there's always two sides to a coin. It's not only tails, it's heads and tails. Every negative situation has an equal but opposite positive, advantage to it if you look for it, right? Every action has an equal but opposite reaction. This is Sir Isaac Newton's law, right? This is a law, right? So for every negative situation, the more negative it is, the more positive an advantage is possible, just for you to brainstorm to find it and use AI to find it. Don't use it as an enemy that is taking your space. It's taking up something that you should have given up long ago, right? It's coming and helping you and pushing you now to do what's necessary to improve your life. Because if you continue, you are in a toxic situation. The job situation is toxic, right? As just an example. So when it comes to adaptability, I've traveled so many countries, I've lived in so many different cultures and so many different cities, and also so many different relationships, right? So I had to adapt to the different relationships and the different people. If I didn't adapt to them, it would not have been as enjoyable as it was, right? I really truly enjoyed all my relationships, all my friendships, all my occupations and all my businesses that I was in. I was very passionate about it and enjoyed it. I never look at them. I looked at the positive side and find a purpose behind it, and find it, because I believe that I need to live each day with passion. Find something to be passionate about that day, right? Don't say, oh, this is down, I'm going back to the same job, this, that. Find something to be excited about, right? So the only way you're going to do that is to be adaptable. Once you're adaptable, you'll be able to find passion and excitement in each day, and you'll be able to live with passion. If each day is amazing for you, right? So of course you're going to have the odd days that are, trying and challenging, right? That is life, right? But I promise you, more than 90% of the time, you're going to be able to live with passion and with energy and excitement and enjoy it. So what does it mean? At the after a decade, after 2 decades, you're going to say that if I reflect back, I really enjoyed my life, right? I enjoyed the last 10 years or the last 20 years, right? And when you look at on the negative side, you're going to make it so toxic that you say, oh, my life was so bad, so miserable, I had such a hard life, right? But say, no, I had such a challenge, it made me tough and made me who I am, and I could confront, and that's why I am like this, because I'm going through so many challenges. It's making me a tough cookie, and I am a tough cookie. I won't let circumstances get me down, and use it positively, right? If you use it, so the importance of adaptability, and also, I mean, we get all these protocols in diet protocols, in yoga protocols. Try to adapt it to your circumstances to benefit from it. You don't have to go, cold turkey into the whole thing immediately if it's not possible. Instead of abandoning it, adapt it to your lifestyle, right? Start incorporating it, in a mild way or in a way, because these things are important, right? The yoga sciences are important. It's been scientifically proven now through thousands of experiments. I think the mindfulness, the positivity of mindfulness was proven over 50,000 scientific reports and studies, right? And there are papers and journal articles on its positive influences, over 50,000. And this statistic was, I heard about this, I think, over a decade ago, right? By now, there's so much more, to implement. So try to find a way to implement this and adapt it into your life. And I want you to live your life passionately and enjoy your life and live the most amazing life, although to any other person it may seem ordinary, right? So I wouldn't, if I reflect back, yes, I mean, a lot of people reflect on my life and always comment that I had very amazing life and varied life, and and so forth. But from certain perspectives, it can also be ordinary, right? So it depends from whose perspective we're looking at it. So I just lived my life the way I felt I should be living it, but I lived every day with passion. Did I go through challenges? Tremendous challenges. I went through, some things that people could have committed suicide, at various points in my life. Over, probably over 100 situations could have, induced people and have induced people in their lives to commit suicide, right? But I didn't do it that way. I looked at the positive. So when the COVID lockdown period happened, and we had to shut down all business and all activity, I said, finally, I've got the opportunity to test out the rumor of the Einstein stating that 14 to 16 hours is what we should sleep, right? I had the chance, so I couldn't sleep 14 to 16 hours. I slept an average of 13 to 14 hours, but I slept for months, 13 to 14 hours, right? And really enjoyed that additional sleep, right? And spend the time enhancing my energy levels, my energy practice, enhancing my yoga practice, and tweaking better ways, focusing on things, that I had time to spend more time focusing on, right? And spend more time on reading, right? I didn't have time to read fiction. And finally I found, and I found some amazing books, right? And some amazing authors. And truly, I would say the COVID period was a very enjoyable period for me, although it was when I, started to lose my eyesight, and, got very ill and so forth as well. But I only can remember the nice parts, because I was more positive and I was adapted to all the situations, right? There's some things we have to accept, some things we must change, the things that we can change, and also we need to have the wisdom to know the difference. So this is something that's always stated, I think, in the Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. Not that I'm alcoholic, but I enjoyed, understanding what happens everywhere, and had occasion to see what's in this, because when I was practicing as an article clerk in a law firm, as a trainee or assistant attorney, my principal encouraged me to go to AA meetings, because to understand what is challenges of the problems of alcohol while I'm still young, because I liked at that time entertaining people, and also dealing with a lot of clients who have problems or get into legal problems due to their problems with alcohol, so that I understand what the problem is, right? So there, that is how I know. They say, help us to understand, to be able to change the things we can, and to accept the things we can't change, and have the wisdom to know the difference, right? So that's how life is. There's some things, that we can change, and some things that we can't change. The thing that we can change, we make every effort. Some things that we accept that we can't change. So I don't want to accept, anything is not possible to change. I believe if we put whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it will achieve. Not can achieve, it will achieve, right? But how much of sacrifices, but what is important to you, what is not, and what's your goal, to adapt accordingly and navigate your life with happiness and joy and serenity and your state of mind. It's not that your circumstance is going to dramatically change. Yes, by having the right state of mind, you're going to eventually create the type of life that you want and be able to, achieve the changes that you want that you otherwise could not, right? With perseverance and adaptation and persistence, right? But more importantly, enjoy each day, adapt to the situation, adapt. Okay, you're in a difficult, you're unemployed, you lost your eyesight, adapt. Okay, you don't have your eyesight today, doesn't mean you are dead. You're still alive, you've got your other senses, you still can be, self-sufficient. You can still, run your own business, find a way, to do things in a different way, right? In order to adapt to your circumstances, and be the champion of your life, okay? And this is where the tools like yoga and meditation will also help you create the foundation, in giving you the state of mind to be able to brainstorm better ideas on how you can adapt to your challenges and circumstances. And even if you can't change it today, keep it at your mind. How can you change it? How can you improve? How can you achieve this thing that you want to achieve? And your brain, your subconscious mind, will be programmed to look for clues on a daily basis to find something that's going to take you nearer to your goals that you couldn't find, originally. And eventually you'll be able to find the answer, right? So I hope this information helps you. Take care always. Tap stop.